It's December in 2024, and so you know what that means. A big ol' list of our favorite movies and TV shows from this past year as put together by contributors here at Second Wind. For me, it was reruns of Mr. Belvedere. Love that uke.
There's nothing like a big, populist, accessible blockbuster. A film that offers scale and spectacle while demonstrating a level of craft and skill. Increasingly, it can feel like big studio blockbusters are the work of focus groups and algorithms, lit and shot for streaming, rendered inside overheating computers. This is what made Dune Part 2 so compelling and so exciting. Dune Part 2 is a science fiction epic, a bold adaptation of one of the genre's defining texts. It's a timely meditation on power and populism, a cautionary tale about the cult of personality. It's also just an astonishingly well-crafted movie, thoughtfully constructed, beautifully performed, breathtakingly shot, and wonderfully sound designed. It's just exceedingly well made, demonstrating a confidence in itself and a trust in its audience that is sorely missing from so many of its contemporaries. It helps that the film is clearly the work of a filmmaker who understands the essence of the work that he's adapting, threading some of the larger themes from Herbert's later works back into this take on the tale. This is Hollywood filmmaking at its finest, a reminder of what the industry and the medium is capable of when everybody knows what they're Dune.
No film this year has stuck with me as deeply as I Saw the TV Glow has. Coming off the heels of her 2022 micro-budget psychological horror We're All Going to the World's Fair, writer and director Jane Schoenbrunn effortlessly juggles heavy themes of trans identity along with reflections on the kinds of movies and TV that shaped us growing up. Not only is it about the power of finding solace in these works during our darkest times, but also the strange sensation of revisiting that art down the road, only for it to seem somehow different. Did we change? Did the art? Or was it always this way? These topics are all unpacked through gorgeously surreal visuals, a pitch-perfect soundtrack, and excellent performances across the board, anchored by Justice Smith. While not directly a horror movie, its coda is a walking nightmare in a way that I haven't been able to shake for months. It makes sense that Schoenbrunn is a big fan of David Lynch, because when it comes to existential dread that surrounds the idea of going home again, Twin Peaks: The Return is a perfect companion piece to I Saw the TV Glow.
I've been finding it difficult to properly describe the appeal of an anime series set in 16th century Europe, where its primary conflict is whether or not the Earth is the center of the universe. Orb on the movements of the Earth adapts Uoto's acclaimed manga series to anime for Netflix, and follows several characters that slowly begin to realize through stargazing observations and shared information that the Earth may in fact move through space, an idea that directly contradicts religious texts and can get you burned at the stake. Needless to say, it's no shonen battle anime, but this is a rare series that feels perfect for today's climate and has the potential to leave a lasting impression on viewers, as it reminds us to interrogate what's considered common sense and be willing to sacrifice everything for the unfiltered truth. Excellent writing, gorgeous animation from none other than Madhouse, and an instant bop of an opening song by Sock in Action makes this a classic series in waiting.
2024 was a great year for theatrical, so bad it's good movies. Not only did we get Madam Web, which was an atrociously funny venture, we received Megalopolis as well. And since I really should only pick one or the other, well, how could I say no to Francis Ford Coppola, director of cinema classics such as The Godfather and Jack. Throughout Coppola's entire filmography, it was Megalopolis that took him almost half a century to make. In fact, Coppola self-produced the film thanks to his successful wineries, so you could say Megalopolis is a film that will age like fine wine, if it hadn't already been aging in the back of the winery for all these years. It has a hint of, Palme d'Or. For those bad movie fans like myself, what makes the enjoyable ones stick out to me is the confusion factor. When watching Megalopolis, almost every choice in the film had me guessing the direction. It's a fascinating 138 minutes that feels more like a perfume commercial directed by the president of the local drama club with a budget of $136 million than an actual film. Megalopolis is certainly one I can see getting a group of friends together once a year to revel in the complete absurdity of a science fiction utopia where Jon Voight makes a boner joke and Shia LaBeouf proclaims "Auntie Wow" under a plaza. Clearly, I'm not trying to defend the movie, more so separating the recyclables from the trash. If you want a new movie to be perplexed by and have some laughs with friends, then consider this mega flopolis as your next wine tour.
The Substance seems tailor-made to entrap fans of prestige horror, hoping for a moody tale about the pressures of societal beauty standards on women. Only once they're locked in the theater is the truth revealed. This is a grotesque, bloody tale of tortured flesh. Aerobic star Elizabeth, played by Demi Moore, has been aged out of the industry. But thanks to The Substance, she has resumed her place on the stage as a younger, more reckless version of herself. Sue, played by Margaret Qualley. Though fable-like in its world-building, this anti-aging movie remains grounded thanks to the practical effects and a fearless performance by Moore. Horror fans might remember Coralie Farge from her debut film Revenge. Both it and The Substance explore familiar horror concepts that are usually projected onto female bodies by a male director. Like her contemporaries, Farge doesn't shy away from abusing the body, but her perspective makes it more accurate, more piercing, and ultimately more revolutionary. For many movies, the spectacle of abuse is the point. For The Substance, it's a way to challenge a cruel system, to get you to empathize with women the world has denigrated and abandoned. While some may be shaken by Sue's birth from Elizabeth's spinal column or the final explosive bloodbath, I was most haunted by the sequence in which Elizabeth is preparing to go on a date. She layers on more and more makeup and accessories, eventually missing dinner entirely. She's unable to see how gorgeous she is, only how she has changed from her youth. It made me want to reach into the screen and shake Demi Moore and tell her she's incredible, but I couldn't. I could only watch her suffer.
Dadon reminds me of falling in love with anime for the first time back in the mid-90s. It initially feels like a shock to the system, in how each episode is brimming with energy, creativity, and batshit insanity. Not since the 1-2 punch of Odd Taxi and Sunny Boy back in 2021 have I been so transfixed by a new series. Dadon is kind of a high school slice of life story, just with that life being filled with terrifying yokai, menacing aliens, and a motley crew of truly misfit humans. Its crass humor and bizarre scenarios are perfectly paired with moments of genuine love and pathos. The tonal whiplash present throughout the series is a feature, not a bug. After only 10 episodes as of this writing, I have fallen for the characters, their world, and the strange situations that they find themselves in. I've been reading the manga alongside each episode, and as soon as the season wraps, I'm gonna binge all 150 chapters. It's just that good. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to cue up that intro again for the 1000th time.
Sometimes when a creator takes a big swing, it's a worthy effort, even if it's not a direct hit. Interior Chinatown is a Hulu original series adapted from Charles Yu's book of the same name. It's a high-concept story where you follow a lowly restaurant worker named Willis Wu, who's unknowingly a background character in a Law and Order-like police procedural. Despite not being part of the main story, Willis forces himself into the center of it all, using stereotypical television tropes as keys to opening physical and metaphorical doors closed to him prior. It's a sharply crafted commentary on prejudiced storytelling in the media, and makes the adventure a fun mystery box for most of the way through. It doesn't quite wrap up all its ideas and plot lines neatly by the end, but it was still one of the most memorable series I've watched this year.
I can tell you the exact moment that I fell in love with Challengers. It wasn't the moment that Luca Guadagnino decided to shoot a tennis match from under the court. It wasn't the moment that he decided to shoot a game from the perspective of the tennis ball itself. It wasn't even that shot of the match with all three lead characters in focus at the same time, although any of those would have been good choices. It was this moment, when Guadagnino allows actor Mike Face to sweat so hard that it blurs the camera lens. It captures the sense of tactility and tangibility that makes Challengers so compelling. At a time when films seem so abstract and so sterile, you can really feel the blood pumping through Challengers, the movie's heart beating in rhythm to the Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross score. It has been well remarked that Challengers is an erotic thriller where the sex has been sublimated into tennis, a study of wealth, class, power, ambition, and desire, all intertwined on the tennis court, anchored by three spectacular leading performances. Oscar Wilde famously wrote that everything is about sex, except sex itself. Sex is about power. In Challengers, everybody is serving, and love, well, love means zero.
I really wanted to discuss challengers. However, I am legally required to talk about Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, considering my secondary title in my contract is Head of Kaiju Relations. No joke. Hot take here, this is no -1. It's no Shin Godzilla. It's not even Godzilla vs. Hedorah. That said, we are living in the best timeline right now for Godzilla fans. If it wasn't for successful MonsterVerse entries like this, the overall Godzilla franchise would not be as thriving as it is today. Remember, it was only a decade and some change ago that the Big G was essentially dead. While I do prefer the Japanese, more thematic take on kaijus over America's big dumb animal mentality, I'd be remiss not to state that Godzilla has always had this split. Godzilla has had tongue-in-cheek entries dating back to the 60s, like with Son of Godzilla. There's a lot to enjoy about these more lighthearted affairs since one of the franchise's biggest strengths, aside from the giant titan himself, is the adaptability to any genre, whether it be a serious tone film or a surf rock island adventure. Typically, it has been one or the other before Toho decides to either pivot the series or freeze it for a decade. But now we get both options at the same time. And with GXK, we get a big, dumb, hot pink dinosaur and an emotionally charged gargantuan gorilla with a robot fighting arm no less, fighting a big, dumb orangutan and a big, dumb blizzard lizard. Sometimes all I want is monkey go smash, and this film delivers that in droves. So take this film for what it is. It's not -1, and quite frankly, it's not trying to be. Turn your brain off and have fun like a kid with action figures would.
This video is brought to you by New Arc Line, a party-based fantasy CRPG out now in early access. Enter a steampunk world where magic meets technology, humans meet elves, and Harrys meet Sallys. As a fresh-faced resident of the New World, you set out to find a cure for the mysterious Iron Plague that's been, well, plaguing your loved ones. Create your hero and round up a party for adventuring, turn-based tactical fighting, and maybe even love. Time permitting, I'll have what she's having. What kind of hero will you be? Will you curse, debuff, and control your foes as a voodoo shaman, or embrace technology as a diesel punk engineer and snipe the magical abominations with high-powered rifles and trick shots from dual-wielded pistols? The world is your oyster, and oysters are delicious, therefore your world is delicious. New Arc Line is out now in early access, so head on over to the Steam page and start your journey in the new world today.
Hey, Jack here again. Thanks for watching our favorite things of 2024. We appreciate you. We appreciate all of you for watching. We like it when you comment or thumbs up or share the video. I hope, if you saw like a movie or TV show that you didn't think you were gonna watch, maybe you go watch it. That'd be fun. But there's so many good movies and TV shows out there. How do you choose one? Here's a quick recommendation for me. My Old Ass, starring Aubrey Plaza. Really phenomenal little schmaltzy movie, heartfelt, coming of age movie, but also about like being old and jaded. It's a freaking beautiful movie. Thanks everybody for editing this. A shout out to popcorn existing, salt and butter popcorn. You put that on your popcorn. It just makes movies better. You watch a movie with some popcorn and it makes the movie better. That's science. Don't ask me why.